My name is Suzanne Peretz, and I am the director of the Lower Hudson Early Childhood Direction Center, or ECDC. At the Lower Hudson ECDC, we provide information and referral services for children with special needs from birth to age 5. In this presentation for parents, I will go through the steps you need to take for your child to make the transition from the early intervention program to the preschool special education system. Sometimes we refer to preschool special education services by the formal name of the office at the school district that administrates the services. So you may also hear professionals call it the Committee on Preschool Special Education System, or CPSE. This Committee on Preschool Special Education is also known as the group of people, including you, the parent, who meet together to decide if your child is eligible to receive preschool special education services. In this presentation, I will refer to the services as preschool special education services, and I will refer to the office or the group as the Committee on Preschool Special Education. Many parents wonder if their child will be able to get preschool special education services after their 3rd birthday, or when early intervention services will end. This presentation will walk you through the steps you will need to take in order to make sure that your child's services do not have a break between early intervention and preschool special education. I will talk about all the things that you must do in order for your child to move from early intervention to preschool special education. You may be wondering why this is such a complicated process. The simple answer is that there are 2 state agencies involved in serving young children with special needs, which are the Department of Health for early intervention and the Education Department for preschool special education. The steps in the transition process move a family from one system to the other, aligning many regulations. This alignment has resulted in a set of steps for transition which may seem complicated. After viewing this presentation, if you still have any questions about the process of transition from early intervention to preschool special education, please contact us at the Early Childhood Direction Center. We can help with any questions you may have about the move from early intervention to preschool special education services, or about anything having to do with a child with special needs from birth to age 5. We can be reached by phone at 914-493-2902 or by email at ecdc@wihd.org. Before beginning this presentation, you need to know who your child's early intervention or EI ongoing service coordinator is and how to contact him or her. There are many things your ongoing service coordinator must do at different stages of this transition process. Knowing who your ongoing service coordinator is and how to reach him or her will be very helpful. With your permission, your ongoing service coordinator will assist you by contacting your school district for you to let them know that your child has received early intervention services and may be eligible to receive services from the Committee on Preschool Special Education. Your ongoing service coordinator will explain and help you through the many steps involved in the transition process. It will also be important to know the name and contact information for the chairperson of the Committee on Preschool Special Education, or CPSE, for your local school district. He or she will be the person to get in touch with when you have any questions about preschool special education services from the school district. If you need help getting the name or contact information for either of these individuals, please feel free to contact us at the Early Childhood Direction Center by phone at 914-493-2902 or email at ecdc@wihd.org. After watching and listening to this presentation, you will be familiar with some important time frames that are based on your child's 3rd birthday. I will talk about several steps that involve dealing with paperwork that your ongoing service coordinator will share with you. I will also explain what it means when we say that a child is eligible for preschool special education services. Based on being eligible for CPSE services, first I will explain the last possible date your child may receive early intervention or EI services. Second, I will explain when services from the Committee on Preschool Special Education, or CPSE, may start. Third, I will explain that early intervention services will end on the day before your child's third birthday for two possible reasons. The first reason would be if your child is not found eligible to get any preschool special education services. The second reason would be if your child's eligibility meeting does not take place before his or her third birthday. We will cover the following in this presentation: a glossary of useful acronyms and terms, notification, transition conference, referral, evaluations, choosing a multidisciplinary evaluation site, eligibility for CPSE, individualized education program writing, when EI services end, when CPSE services begin, and how to contact the ECDC with any questions at 914-493-2902 or email at ecdc@wihd.org. There is a list of terms and acronyms in a document available on the WIHD website, which you may view and download. You can find the link below this video. The listed terms and acronyms are often used as part of the jargon of early intervention and the Committee on Preschool Special Education Systems. We hope this list helps you to better understand the special language used to talk about the Early Intervention and Committee on Preschool Special Education Systems. The first step in the transition process is called notification. The Early Intervention Program is required to notify your school district of your child's potential eligibility to receive preschool special education services when he or she turns 3, unless you opt out of this notification. Your ongoing service coordinator will ask you to sign one of 3 statements regarding this notification. Signing the first option indicates that you have been informed of the notification requirement and the 30-day opt-out timeline, and that you agree with sending the notification immediately and thereby choose to waive the 30-day opt-out period. Signing the second option indicates that you have been informed of the notification requirement and the 30-day opt-out timeline, and that you agree for your ongoing service coordinator to wait 30 days before sending the notification, giving you that time to opt out for any reason. Signing the third option indicates that you choose to opt out immediately and do not wish your ongoing service coordinator to send notification to your school district. If you choose to immediately opt out of notification, your district will not be notified by your ongoing service coordinator, and your child's early intervention services will be scheduled to stop on the day before your child's third birthday. You will be responsible for contacting your school district's Committee on Preschool Special Education if you continue to have concerns about your child's development. This notification process begins 120 days or 4 months before the first date your child would be eligible to actually begin to receive preschool special education services. That start date is based on when in the calendar year your child turns 3. Following the transition timelines is vital to making sure you will be able to choose when your child's early intervention services may end and when your child's potential preschool special education services may begin. You will have this choice as long as your child's eligibility for preschool special education services is established before his or her third birthday. You may be wondering what this notification looks like. Notification is a simple form that your ongoing service coordinator will send to the school district. The information included on the notification form is identifying information about your child. This includes your child's name, date of birth, address, and contact information for you, and since it is from your ongoing service coordinator, it is an indication to your school district that your child has been receiving early intervention services. Only the date that your child was originally referred to early intervention is included on the form. No other details about the services your child received from early intervention are included on the notification form. Later in the presentation, there are charts with dates that are used to determine when early intervention services might end and when preschool special education services may start. For now, it is important to remember that this transition from early intervention to the preschool special education system starts far in advance of your child's 3rd birthday. It is also your ongoing service coordinator's responsibility to hold a transition conference at least 90 days or 3 months before the earliest date of when preschool special education services could begin for your child. The chairperson for the Committee on Preschool Special Education is invited by your ongoing service coordinator to attend, and he or she may participate in person or by phone, or may assign a substitute from the district to do so in his or her place. At this conference, you will learn about the next steps in the process of your child's transition, such as any evaluations that may need to be done and the options for when preschool special education services may start. Other resources and services for your child and family may be discussed at this meeting as well, including typical early childhood activities, recreational programs, and so on. A referral is another written document which should state your concerns about your child and your desire to have him or her receive potential preschool special education services. This referral may occur at the transition conference. It is important that you register your child with your school district so that the next steps in the transition can occur. Evaluations or testing of a child may be done during this transition period. The information from the evaluations, along with other information about your child from other sources, will be reviewed by the members of the Committee on Preschool Special Education. This information will be used to help the Committee on Preschool Special Education to determine if your child is eligible to receive any preschool special education services. Based on the strengths and needs identified by the testing, the Committee on Preschool Special Education will decide what those specific services should be. This testing is referred to as a multidisciplinary evaluation. You will choose the evaluation site from a list provided by your school district of sites that the New York State Education Department has approved and that your county has contracted with to be evaluators of preschool children who reside in your county. In choosing from the list of approved multidisciplinary evaluation sites, it may be helpful to consult with your child's pediatrician, your Committee on Preschool Special Education chairperson, or a therapist who may be currently treating your child. Also, consider if you would prefer for your child to be evaluated at home, in which case the professionals will come to you, or if you would prefer to bring your child to be evaluated in a provider's office or center. This preference may affect which sites are available to you, since there is variety in the locations where agencies do evaluations. As I have stated earlier in this presentation, eligibility for preschool special education services must be established before your child's 3rd birthday in order for you to have the choice about when early intervention services will end and potential preschool special education services will begin. To qualify for preschool special education services, for a child with a delay in only one area of development, the amount of delay must be 33% below age level. For a child with a delay in 2 or more areas of development, then the delays can be smaller at 25% below age level. In addition to test results such as these, in order to qualify for CPSE services, the delay must affect the child's ability to learn. The ability to learn may be interpreted as his or her ability to participate in and benefit from engaging in age-appropriate activities with other children his or her age. Some children may have a delay or disability that does not get in the way of the child's ability to learn. These children will not be found eligible to receive preschool special education services. Remember, the term Committee on Preschool Special Education is actually used to refer to 2 things. The first use of this title is the name of the office at the school district that is responsible for serving children between the ages of 3 to 5 who may have a developmental delay or a disability. The second use of the title is to describe the group of individuals who meet together to review the information collected about a child in order to determine a child's eligibility and potential services. Parents participate as members of their child's Committee on Preschool Special Education. For this first meeting, You may request that your school district invite your child's ongoing service coordinator or other early intervention program professional or professionals to participate in the Committee on Preschool Special Education meeting. An Individualized Education Program, or IEP, will be created. This is the document that is written which describes your child's strengths and needs, and which lists your child's goals to work on for a school year's length of time. An individualized education program will only be written for children who are found eligible to receive services by their Committee on Preschool Special Education. The educational classification on the individualized education program for every preschool child is preschool student with a disability, regardless of the specific delays or weaknesses which qualify a child to receive the services. When a student with a disability reaches school age, then their educational disability will be more specific in relation to what they most need help with. All preschool children's individualized education programs, or IEPs, will list annual goals as well as short-term benchmarks for achieving those goals. The specific services your child will receive will be listed on his or her IEP. Details about those services will be stated on the IEP, specifically where and how often the services will take place and how long each session of those services will last. Whether the services will be provided individually or as part of a group will also be written on your child's individualized education program. Lastly, the start date on the individualized education program will reflect your choice regarding when preschool special education services will start. Dates for when early intervention services will end and when preschool special education services may begin are listed on the next slides. Early intervention services will end on the day before your child's 3rd birthday, unless eligibility for preschool special education services is determined before his or her 3rd birthday. If a child is found eligible for preschool special education services, the length of time early intervention services will extend past his or her 3rd birthday will depend on the month his or her 3rd birthday falls in. Let's look at the chart on this slide to understand the last possible dates when early intervention services must end. These are the last dates for early intervention services for a child who is found eligible for preschool special education services. If a child's 3rd birthday falls between January and August, then early intervention services can continue until August 31st. If a child's 3rd birthday falls between September and December, then early intervention services can continue until December 31st. You need to know when your child's last date for early intervention services will be. Preschool special education services are provided to students who are found eligible according to the school year calendar, which runs from September to June. Remember the 2 important things to know about having early intervention services provided past a child's 3rd birthday. First, the child must be found eligible for preschool special education services. Second, the child must be found eligible for preschool special education services before his or her 3rd birthday. Therefore, your child's Committee on Preschool Special Education meeting to determine eligibility must occur before your child's 3rd birthday. It is also important that you register your child with your school district early enough to have any evaluations completed in time to have your Committee on Preschool Special Education meeting to determine eligibility scheduled prior to your child's 3rd birthday. This is why it is so important to follow the transition timelines explained by your ongoing service coordinator. If, for any reason, a child is not found eligible before his or her 3rd birthday, then his or her early intervention services will end on the day before his or her 3rd birthday. Summer services are not given to a child automatically based on their birth date. Although early intervention services continue through the summer while a child is eligible for EI, In preschool special education, summer services are not given to a child automatically based on their birth date. Summer services are provided to students who qualify for them, which is a separate decision in addition to whether they are eligible for preschool special education services. Let's look at the first line of the chart on this slide. According to the column labeled Month Child Turns 3, for children whose third birthdays fall between January and June, even if a child's preschool special education services started before the summer session on January 2nd, if that child is not found eligible for summer services by his or her Committee on Preschool Special Education, then there will be a break between services which will occur during the summer. That means that the child will not receive any services over the summer, either from early intervention or from the Committee on Preschool Special Education. In other words, for children who are not found eligible for preschool special education summer services, their parents may want to choose to have early intervention services continue on through the end of August, as listed on the chart on the slide before this one. That is the only way to ensure that a child will receive services without a break over the summer. Let's look even more closely at the children whose third birthdays fall between January through June of any year. The date in the middle column, labeled First Date of Eligibility for CPSE Services, will be used to calculate the timeline for all of the steps in this transition process. However, for these children, there are 3 possible start dates for their preschool special education services listed in the column labeled CPSE Services Could Begin. First, he or she can begin to receive preschool special education services on January 2nd, even if January 2nd comes before his or her third birthday. Next, for the same set of children, if found eligible for both preschool special education services and summer services, then his or her early intervention services can extend past that third birthday until the end of June, and preschool special education services would begin on or around July 1st. Next, for the same group of children whose third birthdays fall in January through June, if found eligible for Committee on Preschool Special Education Services, but not for summer services, then a parent may choose to have early intervention services continue all the way through the summer, ending on August 31st, as we saw on the slide before this one. And then preschool special education services would have to begin on or around September 1st, or at the beginning of the school calendar in the fall. September 1st is the last possible date for preschool special education services to begin for all the children whose third birthdays fall between January and June of any calendar year. Let's continue to look at the chart on this slide. For a child who turns 3 years of age between July and August, July 1st is the first date of eligibility for CPSE services. For these summer birth dates, there are 2 possible start dates for preschool special education services. First, if the child will receive summer services, then his or her preschool special education services may begin on or around July 1st. Second, if the child will not receive summer services, then his or her early intervention services may continue through the summer, ending on August 31st, as we saw on the slide before this one, so there will be no break in services. For these children, early intervention services can continue past his or her third birthday, and then preschool special education services may begin on or around September 1st. Third, and lastly, according to this chart, for a child who turns 3 years of age between September and December, his or her first date of eligibility for Committee on Preschool Special Education Services may be on or around July 1st. However, as we have learned by now, preschool special education services will only begin on July 1st if he or she has been found eligible for summer services. For children who are not found eligible for summer services, their early intervention services may continue until August 31st, and their preschool special education services would begin on or around September 1st, or whenever the school district's calendar begins in the fall. For this last group, September 1st may be before a child's third birthday, but it is okay for his or her preschool special education services to start before he or she turns 3. Also, keep in mind that for this group, early intervention services can continue until December 31st. For this group of children, if early intervention services continue past his or her third birthday until December 31st, then his or her preschool special education services would begin on January 2nd of the year after he or she turns 3. Yes, these dates are complicated. If you need help understanding the dates that apply to your child, please feel free to call us at the Early Childhood Direction Center at 914-493-2902 or send an email to ecdc@wihd.org. On the next slide, I will describe what is required for a child to receive summer services from the Committee on Preschool Special Education. Summer services are called Extended School Year Services, or ESY services. Preschool special education services may be provided to a few students over the months of July and August for a total of 30 school days, which run over 6 continuous weeks. These extended school year services are provided to a student who in the past has shown something called substantial regression, or who has several impairments that require uninterrupted services to maintain his or her level of functioning. What is meant by regression and substantial regression? Regression is something that any child may experience if there is a break in services or educational supports. Regression simply means that a child was able to do something, but then he or she stopped being able to do it because of the break. Most children will regress over a break, but most children can relearn a skill they had in the past within a reasonable time after services start again. Substantial regression means that a child needed more than a typical amount of time to relearn a skill or ability that he or she was able to do in the past, even once the services started again. Regression that requires any reteaching of skills or abilities should be documented by the service providers or teachers who work with your child on a regular basis. The most common breaks that may cause regression or substantial regression are times such as after a long weekend, after a vacation, or after an extended absence from getting services or supports. It is important to remember that most students do experience regression from a break in getting services. However, it is also important to understand that most students can relearn the lost skill or ability within a reasonable amount of time. Thus, most students do not experience substantial regression. And since summer services are reserved for those children who do experience substantial regression, most students will not be found eligible to receive summer services from their Committee on Preschool Special Education. We have just gone through many steps of a complex process that is easily confusing. Your ongoing service coordinator and the chairperson of your Committee on Preschool Special Education can be useful resources for you. At the Early Childhood Direction Center, we are happy to help any parent or professional to better understand the details about the transition from early intervention to Committee on Preschool Special Education Services. Please feel free to call us at 914-493-2902 or send an email to ecdc@wihd.org.